Hey everyone, James back here, and it's time for some more VGC battles. This time, you guys have been asking for some more tournament battles. You guys have been really enjoying the battles that I've had at these local tournaments, since I usually do play a lot better at local tournaments than at random battle spot at my house. Anyway, this is from the Bluebell, Pennsylvania Premier Challenge. I believe it was April 4th that this Premier Challenge took place, and round 1, guess who I got paired up with? I got paired up with, you guys know him, we battled multiple times on this channel, Paul Chua, the 2013 Senior National Championship champion, United States of course. Played at Worlds multiple times. He's just a really good player, won many regionals in the seniors division. Currently was top 8 at the Philadelphia regionals in the Masters division. So me and Paul both moved up. We are close friends and rivals. And he actually started a YouTube channel, which I'll link in the description down below. You guys should check him out for some more VGC content. It's not like he's just started, so he's pretty new to it, but he's definitely a pro battler, so you guys should check him out if you guys want to learn more about pro battling in VGC. But anyway, going into the game, me and Paul had pretty mirror matches with teams. We both were bringing Rain, and he had Politoed, Ludicolo, Mawile, Terrakion, Thunderous, Incarnate, and Hydreigon. I had Politoed, Kingdra, Thunderous, Metagross, Terrakion, and Hydreigon. So we had basically 4 of the same Pokemon. The only problems were he had a Ludicolo and Mawile, and I had a Metagross and Kingdra. And while I think I win with the Mega options, that Ludicolo is going to be really annoying since I don't have really a good way to hit. Especially since me and Paul, we both know each other's teams. We played on Battle Spot before the Premier Challenge, and we actually battle each other's teams multiple times. So this was going to be an intense game, I can tell you that. Me and Paul, whenever we battled with, when we both had Rain, we never brought the Rain mode because we knew that the Rain mode really doesn't help against each other because it would just give the swift swim to both of us. So I thought Thunderous will be a really nice way to speed control. Obviously, I was expecting Paul to bring his own Thunderous. And basically, my ideal was paralyzing everything. Metagross should be able to take care of all the things that Paul was designed to bring. I just had to really worry about a Hydreigon, which I was really surprised he didn't bring into this matchup. He brought Terrakion instead, and he never brought Terrakion before. So yeah, let's just get right into the battle, since this is a really intense battle. Really good game for the first round of the Premier Challenge. So I'm going to lead Thunderous and Metagross. I feel like this is pretty safe. I could set up a substitute really easy, as he's going to lead with Terrakion and Thunderous. Fun fact, we both have the same Terrakion. I'm going to Mega Evolve in my Metagross. Obviously, just get the speed. I was worried about a Mawile switch in the future, but however, I felt like maybe I could get a substitute up and then ignore that Intimidate. I'm going to go for the Thunder Wave into Terrakion right away, because I know it doesn't carry Lumberry, it carries the Focus Sash. He gets paralyzed first turn, which is really, really ideal, as his Thunderous is just going to go for the attack onto my Thunderous, probably expecting a Taunt. However, I just want this Thunderous out of the way. I do not want the Thunderous around, as he's going to heal back with his Citrus Berry, and Zen Headbutt looks like a 2-hit KO, so that's really nice. As Metagross is going to protect this turn, which is expecting the Thunder Wave, which he does go for. I go for the Hidden Power Ice, and I do have the Expert Belt items. I'm hoping can it KO, but it doesn't, unfortunately. And we see the Rock Slide from the Terrakion, which is fine by me because, to be honest, I am fine with taking a Rock Slide. However, I do lose my Thunderous in the process, which is kind of annoying. But as I said, I'm really fine with it, as I'm going to bring out my own Terrakion. And here, he's going to switch out his Terrakion and going to go into his Mawile, which is a great play because it gives the Intimidate option, and now both my physical attackers are lowered. Of course, Metagross having Tough Claws instead of Clear Body when it Mega Evolves. And he goes for the Thunder Wave into the Metagross, which I'm fine with because, as I said, I was pretty much fine with it, but Metagross gets paralyzed as I went for the substitute, and Rock Slide, his Thunderous avoids the attack, and I'm like, oh, this turn couldn't have gone any worse. I needed a KO on Thunderous, so he doesn't spam Thunder Waves, which is the problem that I am really having with this battle. His Mawile is going to Mega Evolve here, which, again, I'm absolutely fine with. as Terrakion is going to protect, because I do not want to take a Thunder Wave right away. And he goes for the Thunder Wave into Terrakion. He goes for the Sucker Punch, which fails because I go for the Substitute, but I get paralyzed again, so things are not looking good. He's going to go for the Taunt onto the Metagross this time to prevent the Substitute, which is a really good play by Paul. I was thinking he would go for the Thunder Wave, and I was accepting it. So I just go for that Rock Slide. It picks up the knockout on the Thundurus, which is the real big ideal thing that I needed. And he goes for the Iron Head onto my Terrakion. However, I am fine with this. I have Focus Sash, but now I am vulnerable to Sucker Punch, as Metagross cannot use Substitute after the taunt. He's going to bring out his Ludicolo, and I'm like, oh, this is bad. So I'm going to withdraw my Metagross. I need to Substitute later, because I know Mawile can't touch me otherwise with Sucker Punch. Going to bring out Kingdra. Terrakion's going to go for Protect, and I'm really glad that Terrakion didn't get paralyzed, as it just gave me advantage. He goes for Sucker Punch, and he goes for the Scald onto a Metagross slot, which, to me, I'm perfectly fine with Kingdra taking Scald. However, he gets the burn, and with Life Orb, that's going to be adding up a lot. So I'm going to withdraw my Terrakion here because I am -1, and I'm expecting a Sucker Punch into Terrakion, so Metagross could switch in for free here. He goes for the Protect with Mawile, which I am perfectly fine with, as I go for the Muddy Water trying to get some damage onto the Mawile. However, I'm fine with hitting Ludicolo, as I can get a possible accuracy drop. And I do lose a lot of HP with Life Orb. He goes for the Giga Drain into the Metagross slot, and I'm like, yes, not the Scald. That's perfect. Metagross takes less damage than necessary. But Kingdra's slowly wearing down to the burn, and here, I'm going to go for the Protect with Kingdra, expecting the Sucker Punch into the Kingdra slot. And he goes for the Sucker Punch, and he goes for the Scald onto my Metagross. Absolutely fine by me, because you know what I want? I want this Mawile really low on health. I go for the Iron Head because it puts it in Muddy Water range, which is perfect. And now I know he has to target Kingdra. He's going to go for the Sucker Punch into the Metagross, excuse me. So I go for the Muddy Water, and I just basically double attack this Mawile, I believe, because just getting rid of this Mawile was a huge factor. Or did I double attack? I do not even remember this game, to be honest. He goes for the Giga Drain, knocks out my Kingdra here. Actually, I think I might have did I predict this? Or did I just... Yeah, I did. I predicted him to attack my Metagross, actually, and instead of the Substitute. So I just... Because I felt like he probably didn't expect me to attack with Kingdra, so that's why I did this. Now he brings out Terrakion and Ludicolo, which is fine by me. I'm going to protect my Terrakion. I have nothing to lose from this. I just need damage on that Ludicolo, and I win, basically. He goes for the Scald into the Metagross, which I am absolutely fine with, as he goes for the Close Combat into Terrakion. Perfect, no Rock Slides, and I'm going to get the Zen Headbutt off onto his Ludicolo, which puts in Rock Slide range. And fortunately, I do hit the Rock Slide, and that's going to bring Paul's Focus Sash on that Terrakion, and I know he has the Focus Sash on the Terrakion. As Metagross unfortunately gets paralyzed, and this gives Paul an opportunity. He goes for the Rock Slide, which is going to connect, knock out my Terrakion. And I know Mega Metagross is faster than Terrakion, so basically it depends on, do I get paralyzed? Does Paul not get paralyzed? What will happen? But fortunately enough, I am now paralyzed, get the Iron Head, and knock out this Terrakion for a really intense close game against Paul. And yeah, that game just, wow, a lot of luck on both sides. Of course, when you're facing Paul, in my experience, you're going to have some kind of luck involved. But that was a really good game. Really was happy about that result because I really was just able to predict Paul's every move, especially with that Mawile Sucker Punch. And I was just able to predict him, especially on that turn. If he targeted the Kingdra where I went for the Muddy Water to knock out his Mawile, it would have probably been game over. But thankfully enough, I decided to substitute with the Metagross. And if he didn't get the Scald Burn on Kingdra, I would have been safe enough to set up a substitute with my own Kingdra, so I would have avoided that Sucker Punch. But, you know, luck is luck, and things don't always go what we want it to be. So that was round 1, and that was a really close game. Really happy about that result. Good game, Paul. Check out his YouTube channel as we are going to move on to the second game. Alright, here's the second game against Joe, also known as Sandman on Nugget Bridge. And Sandman, I've seen him multiple times playing at the local Premier Challenges in the New York area, and he made top 4 in the 2012 World Championships. He made top 4, which is really impressive. We haven't really seen him play otherwise. However, he is just dominating, coming back into the season. He was at Apex this year, and he won a Premier Challenge. Well, yeah, he won a Premier Challenge in the New York area. So definitely coming back. And based on team matchup, I really didn't like the way that my team faced up against his. He had Charizard, which I was assuming why. He had Thunderous Incarnate, which just spreads Thunder Waves over, and that's annoying. And Aegislash. And Aegislash was a problem for my team, just because the only real ways I had of hitting it were Dark Pulse with Hydreigon, Heavy Rain moves with Politoed and Kingdra, or I taunt the Aegislash with Thunderous and go for the Thunderbolt, which aren't really great ways to deal with Aegislash, especially since my Hydreigon's a Choice Scarf variant. But we'll see how I do in this battle. My mind process was basically just getting rid of any potential threats. Basically, I knew I had to keep Metagross around for that Virizion, because otherwise Virizion pretty much wrecks what I brought, because it has access to Stone Edge, it has access to Close Combat Leaf Blade, and as you guys can see, it hits 3 of my Pokemon that I brought super effectively. I decided not to bring the Rain Mode, just because I pretty much assumed he was going to bring Virizion and Thunderous and Charizard and Aegislash. I pretty much assumed all those 4, and I thought Rain does hit his Pokemon pretty hard. However, I do not want to risk being in the fact since his team is also pretty offensive, it can knock out 2 of my Pokemon, and then I'm stuck with the Rain Mode. And if he had Charizard, why? I did not want to be left in the drought. So let's get into this. That's why I decided not to bring the Rain Mode. And plus, my other Pokemon were pretty viable in the battle. So he leads Virizion Thunderous, and thankfully I did call this lead, and I just brought Thunderous and Metagross, which was perfect for my lead matchup here. Here, I'm expecting the Virizion to protect or switch out, so he does go into Aegislash, which was really what I predicted, and this turn just doesn't disappoint me, as I Mega Evolve my Metagross to gain that speed boost. I go for the Taunt onto his Thunders, expecting the Thunder Wave into my Metagross, and as you guys can see, it does work out perfectly, and I go for the Zen Headbutt onto the Thunders. However, it avoids, and I was like, I needed that chip damage, but oh well. I go for the Hidden Power. Obviously, it does more damage with the Expert Belt item, as I mentioned before, which does a pretty good amount. It puts it in where Zen Headbutt, I believe, can OHKO the Thunderous, as he goes for the Thunderbolt into my Thunderous, and he makes a perfect play and double targets my Thunderous with a Shadow Ball and Thunderbolt, which I was expecting, but to be honest, I did not want to lose Metagross, because I knew Metagross is an important factor for beating this Virizion. I taunt the Aegislash, and I just want to get rid of this Thunderous right now. And I do knock out the Thunderous, and it actually reveals Rocky Helmet, which isn't a common item on Thunderous that we see, but I am fine with that. I taunted the Aegislash, and it's going to go for that Shadow Ball onto my Metagross. Going to pick up the knockout with that Life Orb item, but I'm fine losing Metagross at this point. As he's taking Life Orb damage, he has to basically switch out or stay in Blade form, which is risky. I'm bringing out Hydreigon. He brings out Charizard, and now he's going to withdraw Aegislash, and I pretty much knew what he had since he had Virizion, so I go for the safe Fire Blast onto that slot, knowing that I can either do a lot of damage onto the Virizion, or I can pick up the KO on Aegislash, which is a big deal. He protects Charizard. I go for that Fire Blast onto the Virizion slot, which does it over half, which is really, really nice. And I go for the Thunderbolt onto Charizard, thinking he's probably going to protect, but it didn't matter anyway. He reveals Charizard X here, and I was like, oh, if you were Charizard X, I would have been fine bringing the Rain Mode, to be honest. But here, Virizion goes for Protect. I mean, I expected it, but I just go for a safe play. I am Scarf anyway. As I go for the Thunder Wave into this Charizard, he probably expected, like, my Hydreigon to have Choice Specs or Life or Protect or something, and want me to Thunder Wave the Virizion slot, but I'm like, no, I just want the Virizion out, and he targets my Thunderous, which just makes the situation a lot better, as I can bring out Terrakion here, and go for a Rock Slide and Fire Blast, and I can presumably pick up a KO on one of these two. He switches out into Edge Slash, which I pretty much expect from him. I go for that Fire Blast onto the Virizion, which is going to pick up that knockout onto Virizion because it's at that low HP. And I go for the safe Rock Slide. Again, I just want to damage off onto this Edge Slash, which is a big, big factor. He brings out Charizard here, and right here there are two plays he can make. He can Wide Guard and King Shield. He goes for the Wide Guard play, but I'm like, if he goes for Wide Guard, I go for the Fire Blast and knock out this Edge Slash. If he went for King Shield, I get a Rock Slide off on his Charizard X, and it pretty much might be immobilized thanks to Thunder Wave plus the Rock Slide flinch factor. And here, he goes for the Dragon Claw. That's going to do a lot of damage to my Terrakion, but I'm fine with it because I had Focus Action to begin with. Here, I make a really dumb play, and I just go straight for the attacks, Fire Blast, and the single target Rock Slide, which was a really bad mistake because I just gave Joe the chance to win this game, and unfortunately, he does break through the Rock Slide flinch factor and the paralysis. It knocks out my Terrakion, and now it's just Hydreigon with Fire Blast against his Charizard. Now, I missed the Fire Blast, which probably didn't matter unless I got a critical hit, and the Dragon Claw is going to connect with the Hydreigon and finish it off. So, unfortunately, I do lose that game just because I didn't protect my Terrakion that turn and go for the Fire Blast just to get some more residual damage. And, to be honest, I probably should have. However, I was thinking he might predict to protect and just go for the Dragon Claw onto Hydreigon, but then again, looking back at it right now, it doesn't make that much sense to me, so yeah. So yeah, I basically screwed that up, but it didn't really, but thanks to that, I knew that Joe would probably make top cut. I mean, the premier challenge that we attended was really small. We had a top 4 basically, and Joe was pretty much one of the most competitive players there. And he was 2-0 currently, so I thought he'd probably make cut, and I pretty much found out the information I needed in order to beat him in it. And I pretty much found the information I needed to know for a best-of-3 set against him if I did face him. So I was content with that, and I did make the finals anyway. As I won my next 2 games, the 4th round. Oh man, that was a crazy game. Won my best-of-3 set in top 4, and then unfortunately lost in the finals. Of course, the finals were on actually a YouTube channel. My friend Patrick streamed the Premier Challenge, and the links will be in the description below. You can check out Paul. You can also check out Joe, who I believe has a Twitter, and if he does, I'll link it in the description down below. Hope you guys enjoyed this VGC episode. If you guys did, be sure to give a like and support the series. Be sure to check out the rest of the videos. I did play at terrible finals, by the way. I always screw up in finals. But anyway, yeah, you guys can follow the other guys on Twitter, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.